Commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Vietnam War. Participation. The spirit of Korean-Vietnam War. Veterans. More than half a century ago, the Vietnam War, we fought for 8 years and 8 months. Through the damp jungles and poisonous insects, we stayed up countless nights in search and ambush missions. Risking our lives, we achieved victory with combat skills, with the Hwarang spirit of never retreat before battle. We triumphed through close combat, with the military spirit of Admiral Yi Sun Sin, to live is to die is to live. We won the battle. Among the 320,000 Republic of Korea Armed Forces soldiers deployed, 5,099 gave their lives. Oh, how heartbreaking it is. We did our best for the peace and freedom of the South Vietnamese people. The real story of the Battle of Tra Binh Dong. Opening scene. Prompt. A misty night in the Vietnamese jungle, with a faint crescent moon barely visible through the rain and fog. Korean soldiers in fortified trenches silently monitor the jungle, their faces tense and determined. A distant explosion echoes, signaling an imminent attack. February 14th, 1967. On a rainy, foggy night, deep in the heart of the Vietnamese jungle, the Blue Dragon Brigade of South Korea prepared for one of the bloodiest battles of the Vietnam War. At the tactical outpost in Tra Binh Dong, a single company faced overwhelming odds, an enemy regiment numbering over 1,500 troops. This is the untold story of their courage, sacrifice, and unyielding determination. Scene 2. Background and build-up. Prompt. Archival-style visuals of Korean soldiers fortifying positions, laying mines, setting up barbed wire, and testing mortars. Maps show the strategic location of Tra Binh Dong, highlighting the small outpost surrounded by dense jungle. The Korean 11th Company, commanded by Captain Jung Kyung-jin, was stationed in a heavily fortified outpost. With only 294 soldiers, including support units, they faced a well-prepared Viet Cong regiment. The defenders reinforced their trenches with barbed wire, landmines, and claymores, turning the outpost into a deadly fortress. But the enemy, emboldened by a recent victory nearby, sought revenge. Scene 3. The enemy advances. Prompt. Viet Cong forces silently moving through the jungle under cover of rain. Explosions light up the darkness as the first line of barbed wire is breached. The attack began at 11:20 p.m. Using demolition charges, the Viet Cong breached the outer defenses, launching wave after wave of infantry. The 3rd Platoon at the front line engaged immediately, but the sheer number of attackers was overwhelming. Mortar fire lit up the night as the defenders fought desperately to hold their ground. Scene 4. Turning the tide. Prompt. Korean soldiers under heavy fire, coordinating counterattacks. Explosions from claymores and concentrated mortar fire devastate the attacking Viet Cong forces. Despite the chaos, the Korean defenders executed their pre-planned tactics flawlessly. Mortar crews delivered devastating fire on the enemy's approach routes, while claymores and landmines inflicted heavy casualties. Captain Jung Kyung-jin's calm leadership kept the troops focused, even as the Viet Cong resorted to close combat in the trenches. Scene 5. The critical moment. Prompt. A chaotic trench battle. Korean soldiers engage in brutal hand-to-hand combat as the Viet Cong infiltrate the inner defenses. By 4:10 a.m., the enemy breached the inner defenses. The 3rd Platoon, overwhelmed by sheer numbers, was forced into desperate hand-to-hand combat. Trench by trench, the battle raged. The defenders' courage and determination turned every meter of the battlefield into a nightmare for the attackers. Scene 6. Heroic counteroffensive. Prompt. Korean soldiers forming counteroffensive teams, charging through the trenches and clearing the outpost of remaining Viet Cong. At dawn, Captain Jung Kyung-jin ordered a counteroffensive. A hand-picked team of soldiers launched a final push, clearing the trenches and destroying the remaining Viet Cong forces. By 7:20 a.m., the battle was over. The regiment-sized enemy force had been annihilated, leaving over 240 confirmed dead on the battlefield. Scene 7. Aftermath and Legacy. Prompt. Dawn breaks over the battlefield. Exhausted but triumphant Korean soldiers regroup, while the outpost, though battered, stands firm. A montage of medals and awards follows. The Battle of Tra Bin Dong ended in a decisive victory for the Blue Dragon Brigade. The defenders' skill, discipline, and sacrifice not only thwarted the enemy's attack, but also solidified their reputation as one of the most formidable units in Vietnam. Even the Viet Cong leadership, stunned by their losses, reportedly issued orders to avoid direct combat with Korean troops unless absolutely necessary.